Hakimi just played the best game of his life while a French courtroom was waiting for him. A trial, a stadium full of people booing him every single time he touched the ball, and he still ran the show. I need you to sit with that for a second, because while everyone's talking about goals this week, the real story is about who can hold themselves together when the entire world is watching them for the wrong reason. And right now, three of the biggest names in this tournament are being tested in completely different ways, on completely different days, and only one of them is actually passing. Let's lay it out. Friday morning, a French appeals court confirms Achraf Hakimi will stand trial for rape. Hours later, he's named captain. He walks out in Foxborough, and Scotland fans boo him from the first whistle to the last. Every touch, every corner. The commentary team literally couldn't figure out why the crowd hated him so much before they connected the dots live on air. And Hakimi, he delivers. 2 shots, 5 crosses, the centerpiece of a Morocco win that puts them level on points with Brazil at the top of the group. His coach comes out afterward and says, in so many words, "Why are we even talking about him needing managing? He played great." No hedging, no damage control, just a flat statement that the best player on the pitch happened to be the one everyone wanted to break. Same day, different continent, completely different kind of pressure. Brazil beat Haiti comfortably. Cunha scores twice, Vinicius adds 1. But the real headline walks off the pitch in the 40th minute. Raphinha, hamstring. And here's where it gets interesting, because this injury didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened in the exact week Carlo Ancelotti is fast-tracking Neymar back into the squad. Individual training Saturday, full training Monday, available against Scotland. Brazil's best winger goes down at the same moment their most fragile superstar is being rushed back from a calf injury he's barely had 3 weeks to heal from. And then there's Yamal. Spain's coach gets asked point-blank about comparing him to Messi and Maradona, and instead of leaning into it, he shuts it down, calls it a mistake, won't even confirm if the kid starts tomorrow against Saudi Arabia. 18 years old, still working back from an April injury, and his own manager is the one putting up the guardrails. Compare that to Yamal's own words just days earlier, calling Messi the greatest of all time, no debate needed. The kid is happy to hand out the praise. His coach is the one yanking the leash back. So here's what I think is actually happening. We've spent this whole tournament obsessing over who scores. Nobody's talking about who's carrying weight that has nothing to do with football. Hakimi is carrying a courtroom. Neymar is carrying 3 years of absence and a calf that hasn't been tested at full speed. Yamal is carrying a comparison he never asked for at an age where most players are still figuring out how to take a penalty under pressure. And only one of those 3 situations is currently going well. Think about what Hakimi just did. He didn't hide, he didn't ask to be subbed. He captained the team, took the armband, and produced one of his best defensive and attacking outputs of the tournament while 60,000 people tried to get inside his head. That's not luck. That tells you something about how this guy is wired. Whatever happens in that courtroom eventually, on the pitch right now, he is somehow playing with more conviction than before this broke. Scotland tried to rattle him with noise. It didn't work. If anything, it looks like it sharpened him. Some players shrink when an entire stadium turns on them. He used it as fuel, and that's the part nobody's giving him credit for yet. Now, compare that to Brazil. Ancelotti is talking about Neymar's return like it's a formality. Individual training Saturday, team training Monday, ready for Scotland. But this is a guy who tore his ACL in 2023, hasn't worn the Canarinho since, and just got cleared off a calf strain that was originally going to keep him out 3 weeks minimum. That timeline is being compressed because Raphinha just got hurt and Brazil suddenly needs another body in that front 3. I'm not saying don't bring him back. I'm saying watch how he's used. If Ancelotti throws him in for 60, 70, 90 minutes against a Scotland team that has every incentive to play physical and desperate, that's not a comeback story. That's a gamble with one of the best players of his generation as the chips. And remember, this isn't a friendly. This is a group finale that decides who tops the group and who gets the easier knockout draw. And Yamal, his coach isn't protecting him from pressure for no reason. When a manager goes out of his way to publicly lower expectations days before a must-win match, that's not modesty.
That's a coaching staff that's genuinely unsure whether this kid's body can handle 90 minutes yet, and they're managing the narrative so that whatever happens tomorrow doesn't get pinned entirely on an 18-year-old. Spain can't afford to gamble either. Drop points to Saudi Arabia, and suddenly that final group game against Uruguay turns into a must-win in its own right. Here's my call. Hakimi keeps performing at this level through the knockout rounds. He's already shown you what he does under real pressure, and a courtroom date months away isn't going to be the thing that breaks his form on the pitch. Neymar is the one I'm worried about. If Brazil rushes him into heavy minutes against Scotland, instead of easing him in off the bench, I think it backfires. Either a fresh injury or a performance that doesn't match the hype around his return right when Brazil needs their group finale to go clean. And Yamal starts limited, capped around that 60-minute mark his coach already hinted at, because Spain knows exactly what they'd be risking if they didn't. The one thing that proves me wrong on Hakimi? If he cracks once Morocco hits the knockout stage and the stakes and the crowds get even bigger than this. That's the real test. Friday was just a preview. 3 players, 3 completely different kinds of pressure, and only one of them has actually proven he can carry it. Tell me I'm wrong about Neymar. Tell me Brazil's medical staff knows something I don't, because if he gets thrown back in too fast and it goes sideways, you're going to remember this video. Keep an eye on that Spain lineup sheet tomorrow. If Yamal's name isn't on it, you'll know exactly why.